Welcome back to the channel. This is part 14 to the road to becoming a Pokemon champion. Chapter 14, Cerulean City Chateau. Serena vs Leaf. Leaf. Serena cried as she ran forward to give her best friend a hug. We haven't seen you since you left Pallet Town. I know. Leaf squealed back, returning the hug. I've really missed you guys. Just today, I was hoping to see both of you soon, and here you are. They both released each other, and Leaf went over to give Ash a bone-crushing hug as well. What about you, Ash? She asked. Gasp! I just earned my second badge, Ash choked out. Really? Can I see? Leaf asked excitedly as she released him. Ash took a second to catch his breath. Then he opened the inside part of his sleeveless jacket and proudly showed Leaf the 2 badges pinned to it. That's really great, Ash. I'm so happy for you, she grinned. So what are you doing here in Cerulean City? Ash asked. I've actually been here in Cerulean City for a few days trying to find the various Pokemon around the area. I've already seen over 50 kinds of Pokemon, and caught plenty of them also. Leaf replied. That's amazing. You're well on your way to completing the Pokédex, Serena said excitedly as Ash nodded in approval as well. I also ran into Gary briefly, Leaf mentioned. You did? Ash exclaimed. That bit of information immediately got his attention. What was he doing? He had just received his second badge, also. He even asked about you too, but I told him that I hadn't seen any of you either, Leaf said sadly. She then rolled her eyes. Then he just had to start bragging about how great he was. I just tuned out that part. Ash and Serena laughed at that. Their friends hadn't changed a bit. I just got back into town from exploring outside the city, and was hoping to see some of the sights before I leave, Leaf said as she looked towards the mall. So I figured I would start by going shopping. Ash and I were just fixing to do that, too. Serena exclaimed as her eyes lit up. We were? Ash questioned in a scared tone. In that case, we can all go shopping together. Leaf suggested. It'll be fun. You 2 girls go ahead and do that. Pikachu and I will go do something else in the meantime, Ash said nervously as he began to back away from Serena and Leaf. You're not going anywhere, Ash, Leaf said as she directed her attention to him. She and Serena then leered at Ash. Someone needs to carry our bags. Ash gulped. I think you 2 are strong enough to carry your own bags. You're a boy, so be a gentleman. Leaf scolded as she and Serena grabbed one of Ash's hands and began to drag him towards the mall. Kill me now, Pikachu, Ash pleaded while looking at the rodent as it was being left behind. Pikachu snickered at Ash's predicament and shook its head while it waved goodbye to its trainer. Its laughter was short-lived, however, as Serena reached out and grabbed Pikachu to carry it along as well. If there was one thing aside from crooks that Ash really hated, it was shopping, and that is the predicament he and Pikachu found themselves in at the moment. To say he felt like he was being tortured was spot on. Leaf and Serena were being shopaholics right now, while Ash was forced to carry their bags. Pikachu was unable to carry anything big, so it was left with the tiny things. What made it even worse was Serena and Leaf decided to shop for their Pokemon as well, which just gave more bags for Ash to carry. Deciding to give Ash a break for carrying their things, Serena and Leaf treated him to supper, which he gladly accepted. They were currently eating at the food court in the mall with the pile of bags beside their table. They even got Pikachu some ketchup, which the rodent was licking at greedily. Ash and Serena were taking this time to get reacquainted with Leaf. So Serena, I know Ash has been collecting badges. What have you been doing? Leaf inquired. I've actually decided to start participating in the Battle Chateau. I saw an advertisement for it at the Pokemon Center in Viridian City and thought it was interesting, Serena told her. Oh yeah. I remember seeing something for that too. Have you risen any in the rankings? Leaf asked. Serena's face darkened slightly. Unfortunately, no. Both Ash and I tried it out in Verdian City, and were beaten badly. That's the only one I have tried so far, but I'm determined to beat this one. That's the spirit. It looks like you guys are doing great at training your Pokemon. Leaf approved while nodding. Speaking of training Pokemon, you aren't doing any sort of battling goal, Leaf. Do you train yours at all, or just capture them? Ash asked before having his shin kicked from underneath the table by Serena. Ash grunted slightly and realized how rude that must have sounded. I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. He tried to correct. It's fine, Ash, Leaf chuckled. I know you didn't mean anything bad by it. To answer your question, I've actually been training very hard. I haven't done any gym battling, but I've battled a few trainers here and there. I always make sure to dedicate some part of my day to bond with my Pokemon, whether it be training, battling, or doing other things with them. That's great. I'd definitely like to have a Pokemon battle with you to see how you've done. Ash said enthusiastically. Normally, I would take you up on that offer, but my Pokemon and I are super tired from exploring today. It will have to be some other time, Leaf smiled sadly. Well, that's okay. Just promise me one next time we run into each other, Ash told her. You got it, Ash. Leaf replied while winking. Serena then looked at a nearby clock on the wall. It was about 6:45. They would need to be meeting Brock again soon. Hey, Ash. It's almost 7 o'clock, she told him. Oh yeah. We need to meet up with Brock, Ash remembered as he got out of his seat. Who's Brock? Leaf questioned. He's one of the friends we are traveling with, Ash told her. I battled him for my Boulder badge, and he decided to come with us on our journey to be the best Pokemon breeder. Would you like to meet him? Sure. Why not? Leaf shrugged. The group and Pikachu quickly gathered their bags and left the food court. Yo, Brocco. Ash called once he, Serena, Leaf, and Pikachu saw him in the distance waiting in the spot where they agreed to meet. Brock noticed the group and ran over to them. Hey, guys. What all have you done today? He asked. See for yourself, Ash replied as he showed Brock his Cascade badge. Way to go, Ash, Brock congratulated as he and Ash fist bumped. Yeah. Would you believe that I battled Misty this time to earn it? Ash asked him. She was one of the sensational sisters that qualified as a gym leader. Imagine that, Brock said to himself. Maybe that was why she was so reluctant to come here. Speaking of Misty, where is she? She is spending the night with her sisters at the gym, so we are on our own at the Pokemon Center, Serena told him. It was then Brock saw Leaf among the group. Oh, hello. What's your name? Brock asked politely. I'm Leaf. I'm a longtime friend of Ash and Serena. I started my journey at the same time they did, Leaf said in a bubbly tone. Brock smiled. Well, it's nice to meet you. I'm Brock, he introduced, to which Leaf nodded in response. He then addressed everyone else. Well, since it's getting late, we better head to the Pokemon Center, so we can get a good night's sleep. Right, I need to be prepared for my Battle Chateau challenge tomorrow, Serena said as they began to head in the Pokemon Center's direction. Actually, I was thinking of participating in the Battle Chateau tomorrow as well, to see what the hype is about. It sounds like fun. Leaf told the group. Really? Serena asked in surprise. She then grinned. That would be awesome, to have another friend be there with me. Great. Leaf replied happily. I think this will be a great way for me to test how well I've been training my Pokemon. Yeah. Just look out, because you have me to face as well. Serena reminded Leaf. Hee hee. I know, but I won't go down without a fight. Leaf giggled. She then turned to Ash. Will you root for me, Ash? You bet. Ash said enthusiastically as he gave her a high five. Best of luck to you. He then added, AHH, a friendly rivalry between you and Serena tomorrow. If only I could have something like that with Gary. Of course, Ash. Serena and I just get along like that. We would never fight over who is better, or who is going to win over silly reasons. Isn't that right, Serena? Leaf asked while turning to face her. Absolutely. Serena agreed. Or thought then suddenly occurred to her. Leaf had already proven herself to be a competent battler from what Samurai had told her. Also, the battle chateau was full of trainers, just as serious as she was. No, this couldn't happen. She was starting to get nervous again. Another bad thought then came to Serena. Who would Ash be rooting for tomorrow? He had already told her that he would be rooting for her, but that was before they ran into Leaf, and now he just said he would want Leaf to win. Ash had known Leaf a lot longer than he knew her, so what if he rooted for Leaf instead of her? What if Ash liked Leaf more than he liked her? What's worse is if Leaf liked Ash back. Hey, Serena. What's wrong? Ash inquired once he saw the tense look on her face. Leaf also looked concerned. Serena shook her head. These thoughts were completely ridiculous. She couldn't believe how selfish she was being. Knowing Ash, he would probably root for both of them. Despite her crush, having her want Ash to only want her to win would be completely selfish and not fair to Leaf. These two were her best friends, and she would not be the one to cause problems. It's nothing. I'm fine, Serena told them as her face softened, and she gave a smile. Despite this, she still had one nagging thought in her head that wouldn't go away. What do Ash and Leaf think of each other? The battle chateau in Cerulean City looked just as majestic as the first one in Viridian City. The group couldn't help but still be in awe at the sight of the building. Misty still hadn't joined the group and had opted to spend more time at the Cerulean City gym. The group would go to get her once they were finished with the battle chateau. This was Leaf's first time to go in one, so she was really excited. Come on. Let's go. Leaf squealed as she began to pull at Ash and Serena to go in. Ha 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 ha. You don't have to pull at us. We're coming. You're a little too eager. Ash laughed. Leaf smirked at him. Oh yeah. You are one to talk, Ash Ketchum. Who was the one who always went exploring and jumped headfirst with me into all sorts of trouble when we were younger? That might have been me, Ash said sheepishly as he rubbed the back of his head. We certainly have a lot in common, don't we? Yep. Leaf smiled at him. She then began to pull at Ash and Serena again to go inside. Now come on. As she and Ash were being pulled by Leaf, that same nagging thought had come back to Serena. Leaf and Ash really did have a lot in common, more so than Serena had with Ash. She knew Ash, she and Leaf were best friends, so Serena couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. This was no different than how Leaf and Ash usually acted around each other, so why was she suddenly acting jealous? She wasn't actually jealous of Ash and Leaf's relationship, was she? Welcome to the battle chateau, beaux and dames. Hennessy greeted once the group was inside. Hennessy? You come here also? Serena asked in surprise. I beg your pardon, madam, but have we met? Hennessy politely asked. Yes. You were the head butler at the Viridian City Battle Chateau, Serena told him. Hennessy gave a light chuckle. Ha ha ha. That is my first cousin. We are often mistaken for one and the same. In fact, all of the head butlers at the Battle Chateau are named Hennessy, and we all look alike. The group's wheat dropped. It was the same way with Hennessy as it was with the Nurse Joys and Officer Jennies. In any case, which of you will be taking part in our tournament today? Hennessy asked the group. I will, Serena answered. Me, too. Leaf chirped. Hennessy nodded. Very well. Please follow me as I lead you to the other rooms to change your clothes, he said as he began to walk down the huge hallway. Wow, this place is so big, Leaf said in wonder as she looked at the beautiful room. I know. It's like we are in a real castle. Serena giggled, causing Leaf to smile back at her. Hennessy stopped walking once they came across two maids who bowed to all of them. Please lead these two dames to their changing rooms. They wish to participate in today's tournament, Hennessy told them politely, while gesturing to Leaf and Serena. Of course, the maids replied, before walking off down another corridor, Serena and Leaf following suit. Ash, Brock, Pikachu were now left alone, and Brock decided to break the silence. You sure are lucky, Ash, Brock told him. What do you mean? Ash asked him curiously. Brock got a mischievous smile on his face. I mean, you have all of these girls that like you, and travel with you. Why don't you do anything about it? Huh? Ash exclaimed. Serena and Leaf are pretty cute, Ash, Brock teased. Ash turned beet red. Please stop it, Brock, he muttered embarrassedly. Hehehe. Whenever you are older, you will understand. Just come to your old buddy Brock for love advice when you're ready, Brock said while giving Ash a thumbs up. Oh, brother, Ash mumbled as he covered his face with his palm while Pikachu snickered. Why was Brock teasing him about Serena and Leaf? They were just his friends, weren't they? He had known Leaf since childhood. She was pretty, of course, and he certainly liked her. Then, there was Serena, whom he was also glad to have in his life. He still remembered the time they met at summer camp. He would help her out all over again, just so she could still be his friend. He didn't know why, but for some reason, he always felt his relationship with Serena was different. It felt like something more than friendship sometimes. What could it be? Maybe Brock was right. He might understand when he's older. He was snapped out of his thoughts when Serena and Leaf arrived back from the changing room. Serena was dressed in the same pink outfit as the first time she was at the Battle Chateau. Leaf was in the same style of dress as Serena, but hers was lime green in color. She also had her hair tied back with a green ribbon instead of a pink headband like Serena had. Like Serena, she had left her hat behind. Ash was quite impressed with how pretty they looked. So guys? Do I look okay? Leaf asked Ash and Brock in a somewhat embarrassed tone, while placing her hands behind her back. You look more than okay. You look excellent. Brock complimented while nodding in approval. Ash continued to stare, until he was elbowed by Brock. Oh yes. You look awesome, Leaf. Ash smiled. What about me, Ash? Serena asked almost sadly. How could I forget you, Serena? You look just as great as you did the last time, if not better, Ash told her, also with a smile. Serena felt a little better after hearing that from Ash. Thank you, Ash, she said. Ash didn't notice anything different about her tone, but Leaf did. Serena, is there anything wrong? You aren't as cheerful as you normally are, Leaf pointed out. I'm fine. I think I'm just a little nervous, Serena half-lied. Ash and Brock nodded their heads in understanding, while Leaf stared at Serena suspiciously. She knew something more was up with her friend than just a little nervousness. If I may, it is time to start the tournament. Do I need to go over the rules with anyone? Hennessy asked. Serena and Leaf shook their head no. Serena had explained the rules to Leaf on the way to the changing room. In that case, may the young madam in the green dress come with me? You are up first. Your friend's my watch from the side, of course, Hennessy said as he motioned for them to follow him. The group was led into the large battle room with the judge in the center. Hennessy bowed to the group one last time before exiting the room. Here I go. I think this is the first serious battle I've done so far. I'm kind of nervous, Leaf said. Leaf, you'll do awesome. You have all of us rooting for you. Right, guys? Ash addressed the others. You got it. Brock smiled. Of course. Serena confirmed as well. Leaf then stepped over to the end of the battle hall, while the rest of the group went to the edge to watch. Leaf's opponent soon came out of the room as well. It was another girl who had blonde hair in pigtails. She also seemed to carry a somewhat haughty expression. May the two dames please curtsy to one another before choosing their Pokemon, the judge said. Leaf smiled and did a curtsy before the girl, who gave a small one in exchange. You may now choose your Pokemon, the judge announced. Ash was really eager to see which Pokemon Leaf would send out. He had forgotten to ask her which ones she had on hand right now. Serena stood quietly watching, wondering how good Leaf was, should they go up against one another. Sandshrew. I choose you. Leaf cried as she sent out a small, sand-colored mouse Pokemon with a cream underbelly. It stood on two legs, and had a really tough hide. It had 2 claws on each foot and 3 claws on each hand. Ash and Serena took out their Pokédexes to scan the new Pokemon. Sandshrew, the mouse Pokemon. This Pokemon burrows in the ground in arid regions which it uses to protect itself, the Pokédexes said. In that case, I shall choose Meowth, the other girl responded as she sent out her Pokemon. Unlike Team Rocket's Meowth, it looked like a typical Meowth. It was female, stood on 4 legs instead of 2 and apparently lacked human speech. This is an official Battle Shadow challenge between Leaf and Elsa. There will be no time limit. Begin, the judge shouted. Alright, Sandshrew. Let's shake things up with magnitude. Leaf ordered. Sandshrew gave a cry and stomped its foot hard on the ground, causing the room to shake. Due to the special way the room was built for battles, it kept its trainers and any spectators from feeling the vibrations. The Meowth still felt the brunt of the attack. It was struggling to stay on its feet, which Leaf used to her advantage. Great, Sandshrew. Now use Poison Sting. Leaf called out. Sandshrew shot out a barrage of glowing needles which struck Meowth dead on. We aren't done yet. Meowth. Use. Screech. Elsa ordered. The Meowth then let out an ear-piercing screech, causing everyone else in the room to cover their ears. Sandshrew received the brunt of the attack and its defense was harshly lowered. Use Quick Attack, Meowth. Elsa ordered as her Meowth dashed forward at great speed and slammed into Sandshrew. Sandshrew was sent toppling backwards and landed on its back. The attack had clearly hurt more due to the screech. One more quick attack should do it, Meowth. Elsa called out. Hurry, Sandshrew. Use Defense Curl. Leaf yelled. Sandshrew was able to curl into a tight ball just before the Meowth slammed into it once more. The mouse Pokemon was sent flying backwards, but still managed to maintain its curled up position. Sandshrew. Turn that defense curl into a roll out. Leaf shouted. Sandshrew then began to spin very fast. It soon landed on the ground and spun towards the Meowth. It then crashed into it, though it didn't seem to do much damage. The Meowth looked a little dazed from the attack, but still seemed ready to fight. Keep using Rollout. Leaf ordered. The Sandshrew then gave a sharp turn as it picked up speed. It then collided with Meowth again. This time it seemed to do more damage. Try to stop that Sandshrew in its tracks, Meowth, the girl cried. The Meowth was unable to, however. By then, the Rollout had grown too strong, and it was knocked backwards onto the ground in defeat. We have a winner. Meowth is unable to battle, which makes Leaf and Sandshrew the winners of the first round, the judge announced, while waving his flag in Leaf's direction. Rollout. I've never seen that move before, Ash muttered. Rollout is a move that increases in power the more times it is used. That's why it did more damage with each successive hit, Brock explained. Oh. I see. I have to admit. Even though Leaf isn't going for the Pokemon League, she is still a pretty good battler, Ash commented. Yeah, Serena agreed. Hey, guys. Leaf called as she and Sandshrew went over to them. You did super, Leaf. I was really impressed. Ash praised. I was as well. You had a good strategy by keeping the Meowth off balance like that, Brock agreed. Thanks. Leaf smiled, but she then noticed Serena wasn't saying anything. Serena, how did I do? Serena got a smile on her face. You did really well, Leaf. Congratulations, she told her. Despite the friendly remark, Leaf could tell how forced Serena sounded. She couldn't help but wonder what was going on with her friend. Here she was. Serena was about to participate in her first Battle Chateau tournament round since Viridian City. Even though she knew she had to relax and keep a cool head, she couldn't help but be really nervous. Even if she did manage to win all the way up to the final round, there was still the possibility Leaf would be there as well, and she appeared to be really good. What if she lost and Leaf won? What if she lost the first round again? Ash would be happy and proud of Leaf instead of her. She couldn't let that happen. Before we begin, may the dame and beau please curtsy and bow to one another respectively, the judge told them. Serena curtsied while a blonde-haired husky boy bowed back. You may now choose your Pokemon, the judge called. Serena tried to focus on what options she had. Charlotte clearly had the most battle experience so far, but she would need to save it for the final round if she got that far. Nidoran had battled a few times, but not as much as Charla. Her Jigglypuff had hardly had a real battle at all. Knowing she would need her more experienced Pokemon later, she made her decision. Jigglypuff, go, she cried as she threw Jigglypuff's Pokeball to release it. Jigglypuff came from the Pokeball and began to wave and bow before an invisible crowd. It seemed to still like to pretend it was on stage. Let's go Poliwhirl, the other trainer yelled as a medium-sized blue tadpole Pokemon appeared. It had 2 arms and legs, and what looked like white gloves on its hands. It had no mouth, and had a vortex facing counterclockwise on its white stomach. HMM, a Poliwhirl, Serena muttered as she scanned it. Poliwhirl, the tadpole Pokemon and the evolved form of Poliwag. This Pokemon can live both in and out of water. The spiral on its stomach causes drowsiness, the Pokédex said. Be careful, Serena. Poliwhirl's an evolved Pokemon. Ash warned. Serena heard his warning and frowned. Did Ash think that, just because Poliwhirl was evolved, that she couldn't handle it? Did he think Leaf would be better suited to face an evolved Pokemon instead of her? Quit it, Serena. Ash isn't like that at all. What's wrong with me? I'm being so unfair to Ash and Leaf right now. They are my best friends. Serena thought to herself. This is an official match in the Battle Chateau tournament between Serena and Joseph. There will be no time limit. Begin, the judge called. Poliwhirl. Use water gun on Jigglypuff. Joseph called out. Poliwhirl immediately shot out a jet of water at Jigglypuff which pushed it back into the wall. Jigglypuff shook it off and got an angry look on its face for getting wet. That's okay, Jigglypuff. Use pound. Serena yelled. Jigglypuff began to puff up so it could float and began to fly towards Poliwhirl. Shoot that Jigglypuff out of the sky with water gun, Joseph said. The Poliwhirl once again shot a stream of water at Jigglypuff. However, Jigglypuff was quicker in the air and dodged the attack. It then reached Poliwhirl and smashed its fist into Poliwhirl's face which caused it to cry in pain. Grab Jigglypuff and use Mega Punch, Poliwhirl, the other trainer called. Poliwhirl reached out and grabbed Jigglypuff before it could get away. It then reared its arm back and delivered a powerful punch to Jigglypuff's face. Jigglypuff was sent sailing back, but slowed down significantly due to it still being inflated. It rubbed its cheek and glared at the Poliwhirl. How dare that Poliwhirl punch it in the face like some punk. It wanted to be a star. It'll show this Pokemon. Without waiting for Serena's orders, Jigglypuff flew forward and began to ruthlessly slap Poliwhirl across the face continuously, surprising the Poliwhirl as well as everyone else in the room. Puff. 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 Jigglypuff yelled as it continued to slap Poliwhirl silly. Once it was finished, it deflated itself and began to pound it back and forth. Serena, Ash, Brock, Leaf, and Pikachu continued to stare in surprise at how Jigglypuff was acting. Poliwhirl. Try to fight back. Joseph cried out. It was no use, though. Jigglypuff was delivering such a barrage of attacks that Poliwhirl was unable to retaliate. It finally couldn't take it anymore and fell over with swirls for eyes. Jigglypuff then stood over Poliwhirl in victory. Puff! It cried. Nobody would punch its beautiful face and get away with it. Poliwhirl is unable to battle. Jigglypuff is the winner, the judge said, somewhat in shock at the display that went on. Serena was incredibly happy she won her first match at the Battle Chateau, but decided Jigglypuff could still use some training. She chuckled nervously once she saw her opponent was glaring at her from across the room. He returned Poliwhirl and left the room rather swiftly. That was a great battle, Serena. Ash said as he went over to her. You won your first Battle Chateau challenge. I knew you could do it. Thank you, Ash, Serena said quietly. Hey, Serena. I know Jigglypuff might have acted a little out of line for its first battle. All you need to do is make sure to have a few more battles with it to prove yourself. You two will be just fine, Brock assured her. Serena shut her eyes tight. This day had been really stressful for her so far. She was acting like a jealous fool. She was worried about Ash and Leaf liking each other, and even though she won the round in the Battle Chateau, it felt more like it was all because of Jigglypuff's attitude rather than Serena's training. That made the win more embarrassing than anything. Plus, she still had 3 more battles to win before she could achieve a new rank. Her friends continued to stand around her in confusion. They just weren't getting why Serena was acting this way. It had been a really tough time, but both Serena and Leaf had managed to win the next 2 rounds. Leaf had used a Spearow and a Beedrill to battle in the next rounds, while Serena had stuck to her Nidoran. She felt a bit better after winning the next 2 rounds the right way, but was still upset because of everything else. The group was currently out in the lobby. They were given 5 minutes of rest to prepare. Now the final round of the Battle Chateau challenge was about to begin, and as Serena had feared, she was facing her friend, Leaf. She wanted to beat Leaf so bad. If she lost, Ash would notice how good Leaf was instead of her. She had to win. She couldn't take it anymore after all of the hugs and high fives she had seen Ash and Leaf give each other. She had pushed all of her feelings of regret away by now. She had to beat Leaf in order to receive recognition from Ash. So, Ash, who do you want to win? Leaf asked him while smiling. Ash smiled back. You don't have to ask me that, Leaf. It's obvious. If I could choose, I would be happy if you won, but what about me, Ash? Serena suddenly cried out, causing everyone to look at her in surprise and confusion. Don't you want me to win as well? We've been traveling together for the past few weeks. Why are you picking Leaf over me? Serena, of course I want you to win. I was going to say I want both you and Leaf to win. You didn't let me finish. You're both my friends. I don't want to see any of you lose. I can't choose one of you over the other, Ash said, completely taken aback. Leaf then got a very rare, but still angry look on her face. What's wrong with you, Serena? This isn't like you at all. What happened to us not fighting over who would win? It's nothing, Serena lied. Leaf didn't buy it. We are going to have a talk right now. Leaf said firmly as she grabbed Serena by the wrist and began to drag her off into a nearby bathroom. Ash, Brock, and Pikachu watched in confusion, still pretty surprised by Serena's outburst. What is wrong with you, Serena? I hate seeing you like this, Ash thought. If only he knew. What's gotten into you, Serena? Leaf asked angrily once they were in the bathroom. You've been acting really distant all day and even shouted at Ash. Serena avoided eye contact with Leaf and stared at the ground. She had done the very thing she told herself she wouldn't do, be the one who was causing problems. I'm. Serena stuttered. Yes? Leaf urged. Do you like Ash, like more than a friend? Serena. asked and immediately realized how childish she sounded right now. Despite that, she couldn't take it anymore. She had to know if any of her fears were justified. It still wouldn't excuse her behavior, though. Leaf immediately understood where she was going with this and gave Serena a hard stare. Serena, you're the one that has a crush on Ash. Do you really think I'm the type of girl who will try to steal Ash from you after knowing that you like him? I thought we knew each other better than that, she exclaimed. Serena immediately got a look of regret on her face. Leaf was one of the first people who knew of her crush on Ash and had even supported her. Now, here Serena was, thinking her best friend was trying to win Ash's affection. Also, she felt horrible. Ash and Leaf were acting no different than they usually do with each other, so why did she feel jealous now and not before? Maybe she. Serena, you should know better than anyone how close Ash and I are, Leaf scolded slightly, still having a frown on her face. It's true that I like Ash, but not like that. He's like a twin brother to me, and I can tell Ash doesn't like me as more than a friend, either. I'm so sorry, Leaf, Serena said as tears began to spill from her eyes. You two are such great friends to me, and I began treating you all terribly, just because I was jealous. It seems I've still got a lot of maturing to do. Ash and I have a great relationship, Serena, but you have a great one with him as well, Leaf told her. You get to travel with him every day now. You get to see all of his battles. He gets to see yours as well. You get to be with him all the time and experience things together. Because of this, you two can support each other every day. Serena had though about the words Leaf had said. She was right. She and Ash had been through so many things together. She had no right to be jealous of another girl's relationship with him. Not to mention, I think Ash acts differently towards you than me, and I mean that in a good way. I think he might have some suppressed feelings for you as well. He just hasn't realized them yet, Leaf told her. Do you forgive me, Leaf? Serena asked with tears still in her eyes. I will on one condition, Leaf stated. What's that? Serena asked. We have a great final battle together as friends, not rivals. Also, no matter who wins, we are happy for the other for their friend's victory, just like we agreed in the first place, Leaf told her, while finally losing her frown to replace it with a smile. Serena dried her tears and gave Leaf a smile of her own. You got it, Leaf. She then added, and I also promise to control my emotions a lot better. It was wrong of me to act the way I did because I misunderstood everything. That sounds more like the Serena I know, Leaf smiled. Yeah. Let's go have a great battle. Just watch out, because I'm going to win. Serena said with determination as they left the bathroom. Is everything okay? Ash asked awkwardly once he saw the girls re-emerge from the bathroom. Everything has been settled, Ash. Leaf said while giving him a wink. However, there was one thing Serena still had to do. She went over to Ash and embraced him with a hug. I'm really sorry, Ash, she said sincerely. Serena? Ash questioned. He was rather surprised by this sudden gesture from Serena. He gave a questioning look at Leaf who just nodded her head in Ash's direction. Ash knew that was a signal to just accept the hug. He slowly wrapped his arms around Serena to return the embrace. Brock and Pikachu smiled as they watched the scene before him. It was just as they thought. There was certainly something going on between those two. Serena and Leaf were now standing at each end of the battle hall ready to face each other. Serena had gotten over her jealousy and nervousness after talking to Leaf and now had her focus completely on the battle in front of her. She felt more than ready right now and was determined to receive the rank of Viscountess. This is an official match of the Battle Chateau tournament. Whoever wins this round shall receive their plaque and move up to the next rank. The trainers may now curtsy to one another and choose their Pokémon, the judge announced. Serena and Leaf did as told and gave polite curtsies to one another. It was then time to choose their Pokémon. Come on out, Chola. Serena called once she threw the Pokeball. With Charla being the most experienced so far, she hoped she could win. I see you are saving your strongest for last. I was doing the same thing. Leaf called out. Ivysaur, I choose you. She then threw the Pokeball. The group watched as a Pokemon that looked similar to Bulbasaur appeared. It was a little larger than one, and was a darker shade of blue. Instead of a bulb on its back, it had bloomed into a bud. An Ivysaur, Serena muttered as she pulled out her Pokédex. Ivysaur, the seed Pokemon and the evolved form of Bulbasaur. Exposure to sunlight adds to its strength, and makes the bud on its back grow larger, the Pokédex spoke. That must be the Bulbasaur she started out with, Serena thought. It's already evolved. She hoped that Charla could stand up to the challenge. This is great. We can each battle with our starter Pokemon. Just because Charmander has a type advantage, doesn't mean I can't win. Leaf told her. Ash and Brock stood watching on the sidelines. They were both happy Serena was feeling a lot better now than she was earlier. They also knew that this would be a tough fight for both of them. No matter who won, though, they would be happy for their friend. This match will have no time limit. Begin, the judge shouted. Charla, use Ember. Serena shouted. Charla blew forward, and its embers shot out like a rocket and struck Ivysaur dead on, causing it to yell from the super effective hit. Shake it off, Ivysaur, and use Vine Whip. Leaf called. Ivysaur then shot out its vines, and flung them at Charla. Charla had tried to run out of the way, but the vines followed it and grabbed it. Charla was then lifted off of the ground, and into the air. Now that you have control of it, you know what to do, Ivysaur. Leaf told it. Ivysaur then began to slam Charla onto the ground continuously with its vines. Serena cringed at the situation Charla was in. She had to get her Charla to break free. Charla, use Ember. Serena called to it. Charla then shot its embers out again, but Ivysaur was ready this time, and jumped out of the way despite the speed the embers were traveling. It then continued to slam Charla into the ground. This isn't good, if Ivysaur's quick enough to get out of the way, Serena thought. She then noticed how the vines were attached to Ivysaur, and had an idea. Charla, use Ember again, but this time you sit on the vines. Serena called. Oh no. Ivysaur, throw Charmander away from you. Leaf cried. Ivysaur swung its vines around, and threw Charla through the air, but not before Charla was able to light Ivysaur's vines on fire with Ember. The fire traveled along the vines, until they got to Ivysaur, where it began to get burned. Charla was able to land on its feet despite the powerful throw. It was still showing signs of fatigue, however. Meanwhile, Ivysaur had withdrawn its vines back into itself to stop the fire. Use Sweet Scent, Ivysaur, Leaf called. Ivysaur then released an aroma from its bud that drifted toward Charla. Charla breathed in the smell and got a relaxed look on its face. It felt so peaceful. Charla, try to snap out of it. Serena yelled. Charla didn't seem to hear Serena as it continued to have a peaceful smile on its face. Use Leech Seed, now that Charmander's distracted. Leaf called. Ivysaur then launched a seed from its bud straight at Charla. Charla wasn't paying it any attention though, because of the sweet scent. The seed landed on Charla as vines began to cover it. This broke Charla out of its trance, and it began to struggle. It cried in pain as its energy began to get sapped from it. Wow. Leaf's a lot better than I thought she would be. She should definitely consider being a trainer, Ash commented from the side. You're right. She isn't letting the type disadvantage bother her at all. Serena really has her work cut out for her now. That her Charmander's in Leech Seed, Brock agreed. Let's win this with takedown, Ivysaur. Leaf called. Ivysaur began to charge forward straight at Charla. The salamander Pokemon wasn't able to move very well, because it was trapped within the Leech Seed. It wouldn't be able to get out of the way in time. Serena looked on with worry as she knew Charla was in big trouble if it was hit with Another attack. There had to be something she could do. It was then she noticed Chala's tail flame began to get larger like before. It was just like her battle with Samurai. Chala's special ability, Blaze, had activated. Chala. Use Ember, she called. Chala blew forward, but instead of the tiny embers, huge fireballs had erupted from its mouth. The power of fireballs also incinerated the vines from Leech Seed and sailed towards Ivysaur. The Seed Pokemon had just been about to crash into Chala when Serena had ordered the attack, so it received the fireballs at point blank range. Ivysaur yelled in pain as it was scorched by the fireballs. The fire lizard jumped away from Ivysaur and began to pant heavily. Serena had hoped that was enough to take Ivysaur down. What she wasn't counting on was for Ivysaur's special ability, Overgrow, to take effect too. Ivysaur's eyes seemed to get a certain fire in them as its plants seemed to grow larger. Serena became worried as she knew that like Chala, Ivysaur's grass-type moves just got a lot more powerful. Things just got a lot worse than they already were. Alright. Now that your special ability has activated also, use Razor Leaf. Leaf called. Use Metal Claw to try to swipe them away, Chala. Serena yelled. The Seed Pokemon then began to shoot a humongous stream of sharp leaves at Chala. Chala's claws glowed white, and it began to move its arms back and forth at lightning speed, slashing every one of them. Serena was quite impressed with Chala's precision. I don't think this is getting us anywhere. They are evenly matched. I better have Chala use Ember while I can. Serena thought. She then called out, Chala, Ember. Leaf must have been thinking along the same lines as she ordered her Ivysaur use its strongest attack so far, Petal Dance. A flurry of large, glowing leaves shot from the plant on Ivysaur, while Chala shot a stream of fire from its mouth. Serena smiled when she saw that they weren't embers that shot from Chala's mouth anymore. Chala must have learned Flamethrower. What awesome timing. The attacks soared through the air and connected with each other midway, creating a large explosion. The force of the blast threw each Pokemon backwards as the smoke engulfed them. Pretty soon, the smoke had covered the whole center of the battle hall where the Pokemon were. Everyone in the room waited intently for the smoke to clear, especially Serena and Leaf. They knew that their Pokemon were at the end of their ropes and wondered if they had made it through the explosion. After what seemed like an eternity, but really about 30 seconds, the smoke had cleared. Both Ivysaur and Chala were standing and glaring hard at each other. Each trainer sighed that they had to battle even longer. Then, without warning, Leaf's Ivysaur collapsed to the ground in defeat. Everyone stared in shock for a moment. Ivysaur is unable to battle. The winner is Charmander, and the one who will be ascending in rank today shall be Serena for winning the tournament, the judge called. Serena stood in shock for a moment. She had actually done it. She had really just won her first Battle Shadow tournament. Maybe she really was capable of being a trainer, after all. Way to go, Chala. Serena cried as she sprinted towards her Pokemon. She then knelt down. You were great, she praised. Chala gave a tired smile, before it fell over in exhaustion as well. Serena smiled sympathetically, and picked her Pokemon up in her arms. Leaf, meanwhile, gave a sad smile, and returned Ivysaur to its Pokeball. She then thanked it for an awesome job, and went over to where Serena was standing. Ash and Brock were on their way over as well. You did awesome, Serena. Ash praised. Pikachu agreed. You really came through at the last moment. You should be proud. Brock said. Well, Serena. You beat me, after all. Congratulations, and thanks for a great battle. Leaf said. Thanks everyone. Serena smiled. See, Serena? What did I tell you? I knew you had it in you as a trainer. I know you will become a Duchess in no time. Ash said as he gave her thumbs up. Serena blushed and looked away. Just because she was over her jealousy for the time being, didn't mean her blushes would go away anytime soon. A few minutes later, the friends were standing in the lobby where Hennessy presented Serena her certificate and symbol to show she had achieved the rank of Viscountess. She even received a small case to keep the items in. "Well done, madam. I hope for you to participate in future tournaments," Hennessy told her. "You bet," Serena said excitedly as she looked down at her certificate and symbol happily. She had a huge boost in confidence now that she had won her first official Battle Chateau tournament. Maybe she could achieve the rank of Duchess, after all. The sun was now setting on Cerulean City as evening approached. The group had gone and gotten Misty as soon as they left the Battle Chateau. Misty was sad to leave her sisters so soon, but they assured her that she was welcome back any time, which made her really happy. It was now time to head out to their next destination. According to Brock, they should probably go to Vermilion City next. Misty couldn't wait to be next to the beach. Unfortunately, for Ash and Serena, they knew they would be parting with Leaf again soon, but decided to try anyway. "Leaf, are you sure you don't want to travel with us for a little bit?" Serena asked hopefully. All bitter feelings she had felt earlier were now gone. Leaf was such a good friend. "Yeah," Ash agreed. "No thanks. I've still got to stay in this area for a little bit longer. It turned out to be much bigger than I thought. I need to make sure to get Pokédex information on all the available Pokémon. I heard there was a Pokémon maniac around the Cerulean Cape up farther north named Bill. I think I might go visit him," Leaf replied. Ash and Serena smiled sadly. "We understand. We'll make sure to call you more often from now on to see how you're doing. Feel free to call us anytime as well," Ash said. "Of course," Leaf replied as she hugged Ash goodbye. She then went over to Serena. "Now remember to take good care of Ash, since I'm not here. Someone has to keep him in line." "I'm the one that needs taking care of?" Ash questioned, which caused both girls to giggle. Leaf and Serena then hugged each other. "I'm really sorry about earlier," Serena whispered again. "It's okay," Leaf assured as they released each other. She then got a serious look. "Just don't do it again." "It was nice meeting you," Brock said as he gave a nod in her direction. "You, too," Leaf responded. "Until next time, Leaf, see you later," Ash said as he and the rest of the group turned to leave the city. "Bye, guys. Hope to you all soon," Leaf shouted out. The group continued to wave until they turned a corner and Leaf was out of sight. The whole group ended up having a great experience in Cerulean City. Ash had obtained his second badge. Serena had won her first Battle Chateau tournament and achieved the rank of Viscountess. They had even reunited with Leaf for a little bit. Misty had patched things up with her sisters, so she wasn't nervous around them anymore. As for Brock, the group never quite figured out what he was doing while they were at the gym. The only clue they had was his goofy smile afterwards. Out of all of them, it had been Serena who matured the most. She realized from now on to not jump to conclusions about anything, whether it involves Ash or otherwise. Even if she still wasn't ready to tell Ash how she felt yet, but felt reassured that no matter what happened, everything would turn out okay with him in the end. She did have a lot of great friends supporting her, after all.